At the top of the economic hierarchy is the owner caste. This is the caste that the bottom two castes work for. The owner caste owns the businesses, organizations, and other assets that make up the economy. The owner caste is distinct because it derives its wealth from what it owns, rather than from exchanging labor for wealth like the bottom two castes. This does not mean owners don't work. Owners do work, but they work for themselves and their organizations so that what they own can generate wealth for them. Owners are the commanders and decision makers of the economy. They take advantage of the economic resources available to them, such as capital, labor, real estate, technology, intellectual property, natural resources, infrastructure, etc., and implement them to generate wealth. Owners decide what is to be produced, how it will be produced, what is to be sold, and how it will be sold, and they make these processes happen with the economic resources they have. From the economic perspective, workers are just an economic resource in the form of labor. The owners are the true economic actors, determining the state of the economy through their actions. Thus, the owner caste is the most powerful economic caste. On the social hierarchical level, it is also obvious that the owner caste is the most powerful one. Workers work for the owners. Workers get paid by doing the bidding of the owners. Owners make the decisions and workers carry out these decisions. The owners command and the workers obey. The owners lead and the workers follow. The owners decide and the workers accept. Of course, the owners can only demand the workers do what they are paid for, and workers can also leave and find new employers. But it is clear that the owners are the ones in charge of the economic process. It is the will of the owners that is being carried out and turned into reality. The workers are simply an economic resource for the owners to use. The wealth-generating potential of the owner caste is superior to that of the worker caste. Owners can use the full range of economic resources available to them to generate wealth, while the two economic resources workers have to rely on are their own time and labor. Time is a limited resource. There is only so much time in a day, a week, a month, or a year that one can exchange for money. How much money workers make is thus limited to the amount of time they have to exchange for it. Workers also exchange their own labor for money. They don't implement other people's labor to generate wealth like owners do. So workers are also limited to the fruits of their own labor alone. Owners, on the other hand, can of course put in their own time and labor on their businesses, organizations, or other assets to generate wealth. But they can also capitalize on many other economic resources. They can use the capital they have to hire workers to work for them. They can also use technology to automate tasks or to make tasks easier and faster to complete, saving time and labor. Thus, owners are not limited to their own time and labor to generate wealth, because they can also implement the time and labor of the workers they employ, as well as implementing other available economic resources like technology. Consequently, owners can really scale their wealth-generating ability to great proportions. They can make their wealth work for them. Owners can implement the assets they own to generate wealth, which they can in turn reinvest into growing their assets and generating even greater amounts of wealth. This process becomes a beautiful cycle in which owners get wealthier and wealthier. Of course, there may be business setbacks and economic situations that can make the owner's operations less profitable or their assets less valuable, but hypothetically, there is no limit to this cycle of wealth expansion. If the owner is adaptable to new business environments and economic situations, then he may continuously scale up his wealth-generating ability by reinvesting the wealth he has generated to generate even greater amounts of wealth, making him wealthier and wealthier. The owner caste also enjoys economic freedom. An owner operates from a one-to-many framework, being able to deal with multiple employees, business partners, and customers, limited only by the amount of assets he owns, which he can grow, and the number of potential employees, business partners, and customers there are in the available population. As a result, owners have economic options with who they have economic transactions with. Owners decide who to hire and who to fire, who to do business with and who to not. If an employee is unsatisfactory, the owner can find another employee to replace the unsatisfactory one. Workers who are less replaceable because of specialized skills and distinguished ability thus have greater negotiating power with their employers and can demand higher salaries, as explained earlier in this video. Likewise, if a potential business partner is found to be lacking, then the owner can look for another business partner. If a customer no longer continues to be a customer, then the owner can focus on other customers and attract new ones. The one-to-many framework that owners operate from also gives owners the option of dealing with as many or as few economic transactions as they would like, limited only by the amount of assets they own. These economic options give the owner caste economic freedom. Freedom is power. In contrast, the worker castes lack economic options and thus economic freedom. Workers often operate from a many-to-one framework. They are often just one of many employees working for the same employer. Even if a worker is one of few or perhaps the only employee employed by his employer, he still depends on a limited number of employers for his economic livelihood because workers only have a finite amount of time they can exchange for money. Workers are thus time limited in the number of people they can have economic transactions with. This time limitation prevents workers from taking full advantage of the many different economic opportunities available, for they can only take advantage of the ones that they have the time for, making them less economically free compared to the owners. Of course, workers can choose their employers carefully and switch employers when they are unsatisfied with their current ones, but the workers' lack of economic options and economic freedom stems from them being time limited on how many economic opportunities they can take advantage of. Owners, on the other hand, can take advantage of as many economic opportunities as their assets and the available economic resources permit. Furthermore, workers also lack economic choice in the work environment. Workers lack final say in who their colleagues are, what their work environment would be like, what direction their organizations will take, etc. For these decisions are authorized by their employers, the owners. The owners may delegate these decisions to the workers, and many do, but the final authority belongs to the owners. Thus, it is clear that the owner caste has far more economic options, economic freedom, and economic power than the worker caste. In conclusion, the owner caste is the ruling caste of the economy, the commanders and decision makers. Owners use the assets they own and the economic resources available in the economy and implement them to generate wealth. They make their wealth work for them, producing a beautiful cycle where they use their wealth to generate more wealth, which they can reinvest into growing their assets and scaling up their wealth generating ability, becoming wealthier and wealthier. Unlike workers, owners are not time limited in the number of people they can have economic transactions with, which gives them economic options on how many or how few people they want to deal with and who they want to deal with, limited only by the assets they own. These economic options provide owners with economic freedom, and freedom is power. Understanding the three economic castes is essential to understanding economic hierarchy. Certain ways of deriving wealth simply have more potential for wealth and power than others. The economic caste hierarchy reflects the general wealth and power of each economic caste as a group. It does not mean all owners are wealthier and more powerful than all skilled workers, nor does it mean all skilled workers are wealthier and more powerful than all unskilled workers. Exceptions are definitely possible, but owners have a way of deriving wealth that is superior in potential to that of skilled workers, and skilled workers have a way of deriving wealth that is superior in potential to that of unskilled workers. Membership within an economic caste is not fixed. One can move from one economic caste to another. When one changes his primary method of deriving wealth, one changes his economic caste. For example, an ambitious person may start as an unskilled worker, invest his free time and disposable income on acquiring specialized skills, use his new skills to get a skilled job and become a skilled worker, invest his free time and disposable income on acquiring wealth-generating assets, and once the assets he owns becomes the primary source of his wealth generation, he becomes a member of the owner caste, the top economic caste. With a thorough understanding of the three economic castes and the economic hierarchy of human society, you can make intelligent decisions on which economic path to take that would best fulfill your goals and desires. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like the video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.